Hello and welcome to Tabletop Oddity, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a little, very cheap, very easy crater for use in Star Wars Legion. You could of course use it in 40k or whatever war game you were playing. I made this because it is in the rulebook, they actually mention craters, and I was like, I want one. So I made this very, very easy, very simple, very cheap. By cheap, apart from the flock, pretty much free. So you can't really get much cheaper than that, I think. I expect you to probably already have some of these materials, pretty much all of them. And yeah, so we'll just show you how I did it and we'll come back at the end. If you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, then do consider so, as it really does help. Anyway, let's do it, yeah. So the first thing I did was cut out a circle out of corrugated cardboard, a little bit larger than what I wanted the interior of the crater to be. Not like by loads, but just, you know, maybe by like an inch or so. And then what you're going to take your some aluminium foil, tin foil, whatever you want to call it, aluminum foil, and we're going to scrunch it into like a sausage shape and then turn it into like a circle, like a cylinder, but not a cylinder obviously because the middle's not there. And this is gonna be the edge of the crater, basically, you know, like the middle part of the crater and then the edge of it. Glue that on. I use super glue, but hot glue would be a lot easier. Once you've done that, you take like little smaller sausages and sort of glue them around the circle of the crater. These are going to be like the rocks that are like coming away from it at a slope. Do these at a variety of different angles, different shapes, that kind of thing. It's basically going to look like a kid's drawing of a sun, maybe. Once you've got it all the way around in a circle, then I do recommend getting a large sheet of like cardstock, you know, maybe like a cereal box, and gluing it on that. Make sure your card is larger than what you're going to do, because it's larger than what you've already created, because we're going to cut it later on and we're going to put some toilet roll on it and it's going to increase in size. So once you've done all that, get some, whatever you've done, put it on some baking paper so you don't stick to whatever you're using, otherwise it's going to be very like hard to get off. And I just get literally some toilet roll, loo roll, whatever you want to call it, and put it over my crater, or what's going to be the crater, and I spray it with watered down PVA and glue. Well, it's not watered down PVA and glue, it's watered down PVA. You could just put it in a container and really make sure your brush is wet and just brush it over. That is completely fine. In fact, I do that later on. But I used to use the spray at the start. And it's not a problem if it rips or tears or whatever, because you can just add another sheet. And just keep, like, I used a little sponge brush, but you could just use a normal brush. Occasionally add in just pure PVA and then water, and then like mix that up with your, like a wet brush, like rub that in kind of thing. Not to quote Ainsley Harriott. And yeah, just keep doing that. Keep adding more layers until you're pretty much satisfied. You don't really want any of the tinfoil to accidentally like poke through and rip through, because tinfoil's not going to take the paint very well. But just make sure you get enough glue and enough water on there that it's going to harden up. It's basically paper mache, or paper mache, whatever you want to call it. But we're using toilet roll. The best thing to use is actually probably plain tissues. But I didn't have any, so I did this. So once that's done, you can just easily peel it from the baking paper. My underside is pretty ugly, but then what I did is I just cut it around in a circle, and then I was like, well, I don't really want it to be a circle, I sort of want this like jagged pattern. So in between where I did the little sausages of tinfoil, I like cut little like triangles, but not in a exact triangle. You sort of want the edges to be round. You want it to look like a natural end of your crater. You don't want you know, just pure shapes of triangles. It just would look unnatural. Once I'd done that, I got like a piece of card. This is where I'm saying you should probably have done it sooner rather than at this point. Traced out my crater, glued it onto the card. Pain in the bum because there's a few little gaps and a few little bits where it doesn't quite line up. I highly recommend that you glue it onto the card first. Don't leave it, because the underside is just ugly. It's one thing, if I was doing it again I would do that, but not really a big problem. And then you're pretty much nearly finished. So we're on to the painting, and all you're going to do with the painting is get some black paint and some PVA or Mod Podge if you've got it. Just mix that together. We're just trying to stiffen it up a little bit. Black bomb it, just cover the whole thing in black. And then you can paint it like whatever colour you want. I'm going with like grey, so I just use like a dark grey. Then I use a slightly lighter grey, maybe a wash. And you're pretty much done. Like, initially I didn't like it when I just did the grey, so I actually just went in, painted some brown, And then I was like, I don't actually like the black, so I redid the whole thing, covered the whole thing in grey, and then just dry brushed it back up, and I thought that looked a little bit better. And then finishing touches, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I got a bit of PVA glue with a wet brush, put it wherever I wanted some flock. I used Woodland Scenics Blended Turf, but you can use whatever you wanted here. I put a little bit in the crater, a little bit in the gaps between, say, like the forks of the crater, a little bit of lichen or whatever you want to call it, and yeah, it looked pretty decent, I think. So all in all, it was a really simple process. I would do a few things differently. Like, as I said, I didn't put my card base on before I did the PVA papier-mâché with the tissues kind of thing. I think I probably should have done that before that, just because there's a little bits where there's like little gaps or something. It's not a huge problem. I just don't do what I did, do it better. But other than that, like, really, it's really simple and really cheap. You got a bit of cardboard at the start, corrugated cardboard, aluminium foil just as like a base, little forks coming off with more tin foil, glue that onto some card, get some tissue, put it on it, get either wet brush with watered down PVA and just brush it on, or spray it on, or a combination of the two. Let it dry, cut it out so you've got your funky shapes here like this. It's like there's nothing symmetrical, it's all like naturalish looking. Yeah, it could be taller, you could do it wider, you can do it bigger, you can do whatever you, but it dries pretty hard. Like, you would have to purposefully destroy it, I think. I've put a little bit of flock on it, put a little bit of lichen on it, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think that would look decent. I mean, it's pretty much, it's very cheap, so pretty much free. Like, I expect you to probably already have most of these ingredients if you're into the hobby anyway, so very cheap, very easy, very quick. I think the whole thing took me less than an hour probably, and I actually repainted it twice. So if you like the video, do like, subscribe. I've got a Patreon somewhere, all that kind of good stuff. If you make it, do post on the Facebook group. I'd love to see what you do. And as ever, guys, have a most beautiful, beautiful day. Bye, guys.